Hello everyone, welcome back to another FL Studio tutorial video. In this one I'm going to be going over Fruity Reverb 2 and looking at all the different features that it has. So I have an empty FL Studio project here. First things first, I need to get an audio file to add some reverb to. So I'm just going to drag that in. Okay, let's try this one. Alright, got that in there. So now, how do we add reverb to this? Well, we need to go to our mixer, right click, channel routing, route selected channel to this track, and now you can see the cold beat 1 is in there. And then we will go to slot 1, select, and we'll choose Fruity Reverb 2. There we go. Now Fruity Reverb 2 is affecting this audio channel right here. So now looking at Fruity Reverb 2, I'll start with these sliders here on the right. This dry knob is going to control the dry signal. What the dry signal is this original audio file here without the reverb on it. So that's going to control how much you hear of that original audio. The wet is exactly the opposite. It is the reverb signal that's coming through after everything's been processed. So if you want it to sound more washed out and reverby, you would increase the wet signal and turn down the dry signal. Otherwise, you can kind of balance it out or play with it however you like. Let's see what this sounds like with right at the middle. You can increase this. And you can hear how everything is way more affected by that reverb when you increase the wet and decrease the dry. This is the early reflections, so this controls the amount of early reflections you're going to hear. If you want to have, it's really what you're hearing before the actual reverb is going to kick in fully. And then moving on, we have decay. So decay time, this is going to set how long your reverb lasts. So if you turn it way up like this, and you can see it's going to continue playing even after I stop the audio. If we turn this down, you can hear it fades out right away. Okay, so that's decay. Dampening, you can mess with this a little bit. What this is going to do, so all the way up is going to turn it off. So what it's doing is dampening is kind of trying to simulate how frequencies are getting absorbed in a room. Next, crossover. So crossover is going to kind of split the signal into two bands, a low and a high one, and it's going to process them separately. So your low is going to be separate from your high. I don't really use this a lot. I usually leave dampening and crossover where they are. You can, dampening I think is a little bit more useful, but it really depends on what the sound you're trying to go for. All of these options, you really gotta just try adjusting on your own and see how it changes the sound. And really compare how it's being different. We got the bass multiplier there. I don't really use that a lot either, but you can see up in the upper left hand corner, you can set a bass multiplier up to 300%. And then going on to these, we have mod depth and mod speed. So it's going to alter the pitch of the reverb is what these are going to do. You can see how it's really affecting it if I turn that speed up all the way. So you can get some crazy sounding stuff with that. Adjusting the speed and mod can be really cool. Diffusion, this is basically, if you look at this animation on the left here, it's making the room more blocky. And as you increase, it's smoothing out. So it's almost a completely smooth and then see what that sounds like. Yeah, so you can hear how it's much smoother turned up, and I really like that. I don't really ever turn it down to here. I usually like to keep it at 100. Size is the size of the room, so you can see we can have a really small room. I'll turn this off for now. And then this is the big room. Just depends on the sound you want, small room or large room. I really like, in my ambient music especially, going with this large room, but maybe you would want a small one for vocals or something else. It really, again, depends on what kind of audio you're trying to do, what kind of sound you're trying to get. And then we have pre-delay up here, so it's set at 0 right now. So what this pre-delay is going to do is it's going to delay the start of the reverb after the dry signal happens. So if we want the reverb to kick in, you can see in the upper left here, 507 milliseconds. So it's delaying the reverb, basically, is what this is doing. Delaying that reverb effect, and then you can set it here to be based off the tempo if you highlight this. All right, and then last we have the high cut and low cut here. Pretty simple, is you're just cutting out high and low frequencies with these. So all the way up turns it off. All right. So that's basically it for Fruity Reverb. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions on it, let me know. Also, with this, you can switch between these presets, and it'll give you different presets as well. Drum room, default, the cathedral, venue, small studio, large hall, drum room. So you can kind of mess with those too. It's a really fun plugin. I use it a lot in my ambient music, and it's awesome. It's a great little plugin. But thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.